summer gvSIG webinars. Last week we gave the first one about how to start to use gvSIG. We showed how to create views, how to manage tables, how to apply symbology and labeling. And now we are going to see the vector editing, 3D views, and other tools in gvSIG. So we are going to share desktop. And we are going to start with vector editing. Last week, I showed you how to create views and how to change a reference system. So now we are going to start creating a new view, and we have the reference system of this view if there is the reference system that we have at the gvSIG settings. So from here, we have a reference system by default. So the views are created in this reference system. For this first view, we are going to we are going to change the reference system because we are going to load a Los Angeles layer that is in a different reference system. So we access to view, we are going to access to properties, and here we can change the reference system of this first view. Here we can change the name, for example, Los Angeles, and the reference system. In this case, we have the recent ones, but if you don't have the reference system of this, in this case, you can look for it at the EPSG type. So we know the code of this reference system, that is 26911. This is the reference system that we are going to use now, and we press enter. So we get only one solution, and we accept. And after pressing OK, we can see that the new reference system is this one. So now we are going to load the first layer. This is an orthophoto of Los Angeles, and we are going to digitalize to create a new vector layer on to digitalize several houses. So we are going to add layer, and Los Angeles. This is the orthophoto that we are going to load. Normally, because this is a small orthophoto, if it's bigger, we can select tiled. It's small, so we can select normally. And here we can see several houses in a neighborhood of Los Angeles. And create a new view, and we are going to add polygons to draw the different houses. So for in gvSIG, we can create shape files. We can edit DXF files too, but we only can create new views, new layers in shape file format. So to create a new layer, we are going to access to view menu and new layer. We have to select a shape file, then next. Here we are going to select the name of this file. We press here, and we are going to name it building, for example. Building, then open. Then we press next, and here we have the attribute table that is attached to the shapefile. There's a field by default that is the geometry one. This field is the field that contains the geometry, and here we have to select the type of shapefile that we are going to create. So we have point shapefiles, line, polygons, or a multi-point. So we are going to create a polygon shapefile to draw the polygon, and we can create, we can add new fields too. So we can name it, for example, building. It's the name of the field. We can change the type, for example, string for text, integer or float for numbers, and dates. And the length, it depends on the contents of our field. We can change the length. For example, for paths for our computer, for folders, we can increase this value to 100 or 200 characters. So we press next. And last option is to add layer to our view. We are going to do it because we want to edit this layer. So we press finish, and we have our polygon layer. So now we have to start editing. To start editing, we have to press with secondary button and press start editing mode. The layer now is in red color, and we can see that we have we have a new bar with the editing tools, and we have a console where we can see the instructions when we are managing, when we are applying the different functionalities for editing mode. So we are going to start to digitalize the different houses. For example, we can see that here we have the multi-point or line tools. They are disabled because we are managing a polygon layer. So we have circle, polygon, regular polygon, rectangle, etc. So we are going to select insert polygon. Now we can see the instructions here. We can start to draw the first house, the first polygon, first point, second point, and the last one. And now to finish the polygon, we can write the instruction here. For example, close polyline or finish. We can write the C or the F letter, or we can open the secondary with the secondary button. We can open this menu and then close polyline. So we have this first polygon. For the second one, we do the same. And there's another option to finish this polygon, that is double clicking on the last point. For example, on the last point, we double click here, and we have the polygon, the new polygon. And the third one, we are going to use the console, for example. Last one, last point, and then I'm going to write here close or finish polyline, for example, finish. I press enter, and we have three polygons. These elements are different registers at the attribute table. At the first webinar, we saw how to manage the attribute table that we can open with this button. So we can see the three elements. We can also fill in the values. For example, building 1, then for the second one 2, and then 3, for example. There are 3 different values for all the three elements that we have in our view. Now we are going to see how to use the other tools for editing mode. For example, we can copy a geometry with this tool. We can select it, and then we can see the instructions first point. So this one, And second point, for example, this one. We can copy elements. Sorry. Then we also can move geometries. We can use this tool, move geometry. We can see here we have to select the geometry that we want to move. For example, this one. We press Enter to move this geometry. And here we can select first point and second point. We can use the mouse, or we can use the console, writing the coordinates. For example, if we want to move this element 10 meters to the east and 10 meters to the north, we can write, for example, from 0 to 0, from 0, 0 to the second point, 10, 10. So this element has been moved 10 meters to the right side and 10 meters to the north. We also can draw internal polygons. For example, in this house, we had an internal polygon. We have here an internal polygon, so we can select this tool, internal polygon. Then we can see the instructions. We can see selection. We have to select the element, this one. We press Enter, and then select the element, the tool, select the tool to draw the internal polygon. So we have to draw an internal polygon. We use the Insert Polygon tool, for example. In this tool, with this selection, we can see the element. We can disable the layer, and we can draw this element. Double click on the last one. So if we put the layer enable again, we can see the internal polygon. We press Escape in order to have all the elements. We also can use the split geometry, for example. We select the tool, then selection. So this element we want to split this geometry. We press Enter, and then we have to select the tool to split this geometry. So we can split the geometry with a line. We select the line, and here we have 1 and 2 elements. We have 2 different elements. We also can join them. For example, with Control key, we can select both elements, and we have Join Geometries tool. So with this one, we have only one element again. And last option that we are going to see is the auto polygon, the autocomplete polygon. It allows us to draw, for example, a parcel. If we have several parcels and we want to draw the parcel that is inside inside the other ones, we can draw with the insert auto polygon. For example, we want to draw this square. It's easy because they are only 4 points. But if we have 100 or 200 points in an internal polygon, we can use this option, Insert Auto Polygon, and then select Tool to draw the auto polygon. So we are going to use the Insert Polygon tool. We're going to draw here, here, and last one here. So we have, now we are going to select first one and the other one. We have 2 different elements, and we haven't, we only have been writing the polygon, the external polygon here. Well, when we have all the polygons and all the elements and the attribute table with the different attributes, we have to finish editing. So we have to press secondary button and end editing. We can save changes, we can discard them, or we can continue editing. So we are going to save this layer. And now we have our first new layer in our disk, our hard disk. There's a tool, for example, there's an important tool that allows us to fill in the area of the different polygons of the different houses here. It's opening the attribute table, and we have at the table menu, we have add measure and area. Here, it tells us that it's going to add a new field in this case. So we press OK, and here we have the area of the different elements of the different polygons. And the small one, this one, 21 square meters. So here we have seen the main editing tools in gvSIG. Now I'm going to show you the geoprocesses. There are more than 200 geoprocesses that you can manage from the toolbox. First of all, we are going to create a new view. In this case, we have opened the project manager. We can go to the project manager from the show menu too, and we are going to create a new view. The reference system of this new view is for Japan. We're going to change this reference system. So I've accessed to the view properties and current projection, and then the new reference system is 32654. I have this reference system here, but if you don't have the reference system in your recent ones, you can access to the EPSG, and we can write by code 32654. Then we press enter, and we only have one result because there's only one code for the different reference systems. We press OK, we apply, and here we have our second view in this reference system. And now we are going to load two layers of Japan, the prefectures and the railways. A layer, and we are going to access to the Japan folder, the prefectures and the railways in this reference system, the same than the view. We press open and OK. And we can see here I'm going to change the railways symbology. OK. OK, and you can see here the railways and the prefectures. There, I've told you that at the toolbox we can access to the different geoprocesses that we can manage in gvSIG. There are several gvSIG geoprocesses, and then sextante. For sextante, we have for hydrological analysis, for buffers, for fire modeling, for geostatistics, for example, for different raster analysis. For vector layers, we have for line pointer polygon, or for generic vector layers. We can vectorize, we can create digital model, for example, from a control line layer. And we have different for vegetation indexes. All of them, we can see here the different geoprocesses. But we are going to use the gvSIG geoprocesses for vector layers, in this case for the railways layer. We're going to apply a buffer, an area of influence. So we have to double click on the buffer geoprocess. We have to select the layer, in this case, Japan Railway. We have to select the parameters. In this case, for the buffer, we have the distance for the area of influence. We can select a field with the distance for different elements, or we can select the same distance for all the elements. For example, 100 meters. We can work on a selected geometries, or we can work on all the layer. We also can dissolve the entities. If they are continuous, they can be dissolved, for example. And we can select the round border option. And finally, we have to select the output file, the name of the output file. We can choose a folder and the name of the file, or we can save the file to a temporary file, for example. If we don't want to use this file later, we can choose this option. For example, I'm going to use this option. I press OK. I'm going to close the toolbox. And after finishing the process, we can see that the railway line is here, and the buffer is 100 meters in each side. It's a new layer. I'm going to select this element. We have selected the dissolve entities option, so we can see all the elements. It's only one element, but if we have any independent element, for example here, that is not connected with this one, we have a different element. So you can use more than 200 geoprocesses from the toolbox. Now I'm going to show you how to export to Kml format in order to import in Google Earth. So we are going to add a new layer. In this case, it's another layer from Japan. It's this one, the row selection, the same reference system, and we press OK. So here we can see the new layer. And I'm going to select one of the elements. The attribute table of the new layer, and the ID number 69, for example, is one of the most scenic paths in Japan. I know it, so I'm going to select this feature at this moment, and we are going to export this element to a Kml format in order to load it in Google Earth. So with this element, we can go to this element from this button, zoom to selection, and here we can see the element. We have to go to the layer, export to menu, and we have to select Kml format. Here we can see this is the format supported by Google Earth, and we are going to select this option. We press next. Here we have two options. For example, we have show attributes in balloon. So if we select this option, the information of the attribute table of the shapefile will be at the KML file. So it will be we can get that information in Google Earth. And if we have the view in a different reference system than the supported by Google Earth, like this, we have the option to convert this file to this reference system. So we are going to choose this option. We press next, And now we have to select the file, the output file. So here and Japan, for example. Open it, we press next. Here we can export all the elements, all the layer, only selected records. This is the option that I'm going to select because I'm going to export only one element, and by filter too. So we export to the new file, and we aren't going to add this layer in this view because it's in a different reference system. The reference system for Google Earth is different than our reference system. So I'm not going to add this layer here. But now I'm going to my folder, this folder, and here we have my KML file. I open it, and Google Earth is open, and zoom to this file. I'm going to change the symbology, properties, color. I'm going to select a red color, for example, and the size. And here we can see the new file, only the element that I exported. And we can, for example, we can see the information of this line because I selected that option in gvSIG. Here it is, the information of the attribute table of the shapefile, the original shapefile. And we also can navigate with this option. So here we can see the navigation on this file in Google Earth. So it's a very useful tool that we have in gvSIG. Well, I'm going to close Google Earth, and I'm going to continue here. There's a very important tool in gvSIG that we can use to install the different extensions for gvSIG. For example, gvSIG, the final version, in this case it's the 2.2 version. This is the last final version, but we are developing the 2.3 version. Yesterday we released the second release candidate. So if we release a final version and there is any new functionality, any new extension, or any new language or symbol library, for example, we don't have to wait for the next version. For that we have the Add-Ons Manager, so we can access to tools, Add-Ons Manager, and here we have three options. First option, the standard installation, is the file that we downloaded when we install gvSIG. Not all the extensions are installed by default, but we can install some of them after our first installation. So we can select this option. If we have a package, a file, we can install from file directly, or we also can install from the server. There are several options here. We have the official repository frozen in this version. This frozen in this version is for the final version, and the testing and official repositories are for the extensions that are available after the final version. So I'm going to use this option now, the standard installation. I press next. And now I'm going to see all the symbol libraries and extensions that are available in gvSIG at this moment for this version. We can, if you don't have the 3D view, for example, the next tool that we are going to see at this webinar is the 3D extension. If you don't have the 3D extension in your installation, in your gvSIG installation, you can access here to the standard installation and select 3D in this box. So I have this extension installed because it's in green color. But if you don't have this extension installed, you can install from this square, from this box. And after next, you can restart gvSIG, and the 3D extension will be available in your gvSIG. I'm going to show you, for example, several symbol libraries. If you press symbols, here you have several symbol libraries that are available to install in gvSIG. For example, OpenStreetMap for weather, for cities, for Google Maps, forestry. You have several options. So I'm going to install, for example, for weather. I press next. And after installation, if I press finish, I get this message. But I'm going to tell you about this message. If you are installing symbol libraries, it's not necessary to restart gvSIG. But if you are installing an extension, you have to restart gvSIG. So I've installed a symbol library, symbols, browse symbols, and this is the new symbol library that I've installed. So after that, we are going to start with the 3D view. The 3D view in gvSIG works with views in geographical coordinates in WGS 84. So the views has to be in 4326. If we have a view in this reference system, we can create a 3D view. So here we have our 2D view in this case, and we are going to start to add layers. So we select a layer, and we are going to add a file first. Add and San Francisco. Here we have a digital model of San Francisco. It's an active file. I'm going to open it. This is it's a small layer, so we can select the normal option, not tiled. So it's not very big, so we can select normal option. We press OK. And here we have the digital model of San Francisco Bay. Here we can see the sea, the ocean, and the mountains. We can apply, for example, to see it better, we can apply a color table. So we press secondary button and color table. And here we have to activate, firstly, we have to activate color table. Then we can select one of them, for example, MDT2, digital model number 2. We apply and we accept. And here we have the digital model with the color table. And now we are going to create the 3D view. So with this layer in this reference system 4326, we can access to view, and we will have the 3D view menu here. We can create, we have two options. Spherical 3D views, like Google Earth, for example, we can see the sphere, and flat 3D view that can be, for example, it's very useful for local areas. For small areas, for example, we can use flat 3D view. I'm going to use a spherical 3D view. Here we have all the Earth. So now we can use one of these tools. In this case, we have synchronized view. All the changes that we do in the 2D view are done in the 3D view. And synchronized viewport, that is the zoom. So I press this button, and here we can see our layer from San Francisco. We can use the wheel and the buttons of the mouse to change inclination, movement, or near or far. You can see with these options. We also can see here the satellite image. It's the Landsat or NASA satellite image, and we can use the digital model used by the servers. So we can change exaggeration from here with these options. We can see the exaggeration. And now we are going to load two new layers. For example, two raster files that we have from this area. We are going to add layer, and we have these ones. They are TIFF files normally because they aren't very big. And okay, so we are going to see here both layers. If I press synchronize viewport, we can see here the images of San Francisco City. This is a raster file, and we can see this option. We can manage the 3D properties from two different places. For example, for view properties, we have a 3D tab. And here we can manage the exaggeration. We can manage the auto-synchronized layers or viewport. Viewport wasn't synchronizing automatically, so we can manage it. We can change it from here, and we can show both layers, Blue Marble and Landsat, and then we can show the full elevation or not. If we don't use the full elevation, we can use the elevation of the digital model. For example, for the digital model of San Francisco, if we access to the raster properties, we also have a 3D tab. And here we can change or to be loaded. The raster has to be loaded as a raster image or as an elevation, with the elevation. So we can use the digital model with elevation. So we can select this option and remove this option from the 3D view settings. And here we can change the tile size, the elevation. We select elevation here. We can change the units and no data values. Raster image. I'm going to cancel here. And now I'm going to load a vector file. We have from this digital model, for example, I have this digital model. We can create contour lines from the toolbox. From here, the toolbox, vectorization, we can create contour lines. I'm not going to do it now because it takes some time, but I did it last week. So I'm going to load directly this contour lines layer. So I'm going to add layer again, add file, and here we have the contour lines layer that I created from the digital model. Open, and here we can see the information. I'm going to apply symbology to the contour lines. Symbology by quantities, by intervals, the elevation, in this case, from white color to a dark red color. In this case, equal intervals, 50 intervals, and calculate intervals. Here we can see them, and I apply. Here we can see the information based on the elevation. And now, if I synchronize viewport, we can see the same information at the 3D view. The dark red color is the highest element. So we can see this information here. Well, I'm loaded a raster file, local raster file, and local vector file. But we also can load remote services. So I'm going to add layer. We can add a web map service, web feature service, web coverage service, or web tile service, for example. For example, I'm going to load this one. This is the National Orthophoto Planning in Spain. So I'm going to connect. I press next. This is a remote service. I'm going to add this layer. I press next. The styles only by default. The format and the reference system, very important. The same of my view. I press OK, and here I have this layer. I'm going to zoom to layer, and I'm going to, for example, to Barcelona city. Here I have Barcelona city. I'm going to synchronize viewport. And he's going to Barcelona. And here we have this information. So we can see the Barcelona city with this layer. It's been loaded now. And here we can see Barcelona city in my 3D view. It's connecting to a web server. And to finish this webinar, we are going to load a new vector file and applying labels. And I'm going to add the labels. So I'm going to add layer, add file, and in this case, I'm going to load this shapefile. They are the states of Mexico. We are going to open this layer. No, I'm going to say I have to select it. Open. I have this layer, and I'm going to zoom to layer. Here we have the states of Mexico. So I'm going to access the properties. of this layer. I'm going to change symbology by categories, unique values, and the name of the different states, that is name 1. I'm going to select a different color scheme with a variety of colors and add all. Here we have different colors. We can apply, and here we have the new symbology. And now I'm going to apply to enable labeling. In this case, same field, name of the regions, of the states, name 1, and 10 pixels will be the units in pixels, and 10. I apply and OK. So here we can see this information. And now, if I press synchronize viewport, it's going to Mexico. And here we can see this information, labels and symbology. Well, this is the last exercise. So if you have any doubt, you can ask at the. I'm going to see if you have asked. Alvaro has been answering all the questions. And if there is any important question, I see that there isn't anyone now. So I think everything is clear. So we finish this webinar at this point. We will publish all the cartography at the gvSIG blog. The cartography and the video will be available, and you can follow the webinar with your gvSIG. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye bye.